Today I'm in a forest in southern France, and I'm going to look for trapdoor spiders, of which there are 2 species that live here from 2 different families. And they are a fairly common occurrence in the forest, especially along the banks. So they should be pretty straightforward to find. There's also a 3rd species of mygalomorph that lives out here, which is the purse web spider or the sock spider. But I'll do a video on those another time. You can see that there's a trapdoor right here. Let me open it up. There you go. But there's an ant in it, and there was this hole on the side. So there's a really good chance that it's just inactive now. Yeah, so sad. I just dug out this wall a bit, and at the bottom of that piece right there, where you see a speck of white, there's this Nemesia species from, no surprise, the family Nemesidae. This one's like an adult. Quite a cool spider, but not very large at all. This right here is a trapdoor spider burrow. It's quite a sizable one. And it belongs to a wishbone spider. Right next to it, there's a smaller one. Should belong to the same species. I'm gonna start digging this one up, and I'll give small progress updates as they get deeper into the soil. I've gone a bit further in by about 3 or 4 centimeters, and I intercepted this little burrow too, but I'm not really gonna pay attention to it. I went just slightly deeper. It looks like there's a 3rd one down here too. I'll leave that one alone. I've gone a couple more centimeters in, and I wanted to show you this. Oftentimes, Nemesia, which is what I'm digging up, have this flap, an inhibitor that only goes one way. The spider will put it down when it needs to come out or to the surface, and if anything tries to go down, it can block it halfway through the burrow. I just pulled the little inhibitor out. This is what it looks like. Looks like a door, but a bit differently shaped. Obviously longer since it's in at an angle. Target acquired. I can see the legs down there. But also, the little one that I wasn't really after is right there. There it is. Our spider is about to come up. There it is. Ah. Here it is, a full-grown Nemesia. Yeah, they don't really get any larger than this. I don't really have any use for the spider as far as collecting goes. I'm not going to be collecting anything while I'm in France. So I'll let it down in the leaf litter, and it should be able to build a new burrow overnight. Thought I should show this trapdoor. This is a good example of a trapdoor that's been dug out not too long ago. So we'll lift the door here. This one belongs to a Nemesia. And this is all the dirt that it excavated, obviously. And this is sort of your proof that if you dig up a trapdoor spider and then release it, it can easily make another burrow. This one had to relocate for one reason or another, and then in the course of probably one night or maybe 2, it was able to make an entirely new burrow. So we've seen several burrows from the Nemesia or wishbone spiders, and I wanted to go look for the 2nd species that's out here, and that is Cteniza. They are slightly less common and live on less mesic banks, but instead ones that are more barren, if you will. What I seek for is right in front of my eyes. There is a Cork-Lid right here. Get that out of the way. There you go. Hopefully this belongs to Cteniza. So I will start excavating it. I was removing this stone right here, right below the trapdoor, and couldn't help but notice that there's actually another door right here. Not sure whether it's in use or not. Let's take it off. Managed to get that 2nd one off. The webbing is like twice as strong. It actually took some effort getting it off. Kind of surprising, really. The first trapdoor is occupied by the cocoon of a parasitic wasp, one that presumably feeds on spiders. So there's nothing in here except for an old cocoon. Just ripped off the larger burrow. Here it is. Try to open the door again. Kind of tough to do with one hand. There you go. There's the door, and the burrow's right there. Try to find the spider. I seem to have found the spider in here. So, try to poke it out. Seems very reluctant to come out. But you can see it right there. Come on. Oh, it's falling. The spider is very sluggish at the moment, but looks like it is waking up. Whereas Nemesia represents many species of trapdoor spiders on mainland France, Cteniza moggridgei, the spider here, is the only species in Cteniza that can be found on mainland France. The other Cteniza species are found in Corsica. Well, now that I'm all done with this spider right here, I'm going to try to find a larger one of the same species. Looks like we've got a pretty sizable door here, hidden away, but I'm afraid that this might be Nemesia. I don't know, we'll see. No, this one looks like it's Denisa, so I'll get to work. I actually see a spider back there, but I'm not gonna poke it out with this, otherwise I'm gonna accidentally saw it in half. So I'm gonna put a little stick down there and hopefully it comes out. Here's our adult Cteniza moggridgei. The biggest one I've seen, actually, in my life. Not in my sleeve, please. And here we have the Cteniza moggridgei adult next to its trapdoor. I've done videos in the past on Cork-Lid Trapdoor Spiders, but those are not the same Cork-Lid Trapdoor Spiders as the one I'm showing you here in terms of which family they belong to. This one is from the family Ctenizidae, and the ones I've shown in the past, like the California Trapdoor Spider, are from the family Halanoproctidae. They all used to be part of the family Ctenizidae, but recently the family got split into two, and so now there are two groups of Cork-Lid Trapdoor Spiders. But the one that you're looking at here is the OG Cork-Lid Trapdoor Spider. Alright then, I'm going to place this one here, and I think it'll go back in its burrow. Maybe dig it a bit further back and then make a new door. Go ahead. Here we have a couple Nemesia burrows. Here's one of them, and here's the other one. And right up here, there are a couple of Cteniza burrows. One of them right here, a smaller one, and then quite a large one sitting right here. There you have it. So I want to take this opportunity to show the 5 main differences between the burrows of the two species. So I'll begin by showing this Nemesia burrow, and the first difference you'll notice is that this burrow entrance and door is made out of plant matter. So you'll see bits of leaves that were chewed up to make that door, and then there's some like pine needles and whatnot that are lining the entrance. And you'll almost never see plant matter used in Cteniza burrows, but you will see moss growing over them sometimes. And this isn't really a hard rule. Sometimes Nemesia will make their burrow out of dirt, especially in other regions with different species. So for the next difference, I do have to start taking the burrow apart. Here are the burrows again, side by side. The one on the right is the Nemesia burrow, and the one on the left is the Cteniza burrow. The next thing you'll notice is the door shape. So this door from the Cteniza is quite thick, and the one from the Nemesia is paper thin. Next difference here, this is the Nemesia burrow. The silk here is not as thick and therefore much weaker. So it tears off very easily. It's very feeble. And then the silk from the Cteniza burrow is more built into the dirt surrounding it and is very tough. And for the next difference here, I will have to dig down a bit closer to the spider. And here is the fourth difference between the two burrows. What you're looking at here is the inhibitor I showed you earlier, but still in the burrow. See, I dug down a bit further. And if I take a pine needle, I can push it down. It's a flap that goes down, and then the burrow continues behind it. And this is the area that the spider can crawl up to and push that flap up to prevent things from coming down and preying on it. Here's that little flap outside of the burrow. And you can see that there is a spider down there. Well, it's not focused on the right plane, but there is a spider down there, and I will take it out. And the fifth difference is that these spiders have a burrow shaped like a Y, and one of the ends of the Y doesn't reach the surface, but the other one leads to the door. and that would be the escape for the spider. But I can't show you with this one because there's a big root in the way, and I can't get a proper cross-section to show that part of the burrow. There's the spider. And now if we get back to this burrow over here, you'll notice that there aren't any inhibitors along the way. And there isn't any Y, although you wouldn't be able to notice that part because the hole that leads to the main shaft of a Nemesia burrow isn't visible just straight on from this angle. Well, I pulled the web out and the spider came with it, so that was very practical, actually. Looks like this spider here has babies with it, which is really awesome. And these babies are ready to leave the mother and make their own burrows while the dirt is soft during the season. Here is our mother Cteniza moggridgei and her little babies. Some of them are moving around, others are not, but they have developed quite a bit. I've been quite good in the past at not digging up spiders in the season where there are egg sacs or protonymphs, because if you do that, then pretty much all the little spiderlings are screwed and won't make it. This time of the season, onward to the end of winter and early spring, is the perfect time to be looking for them, so you're not disrupting any natural processes. Quick and obvious differences. First off, proportions are not at all the same. These are both adult females, and you can tell that the Nemesia, even though this one's all like bunched up, has a less stocky build than the Cteniza. Longer legs, longer cephalothorax, and longer abdomen, while on the Cteniza, the abdomen is much more round, the cephalothorax is much more round, and the legs are shorter, stubbier. Another thing, which is quite obvious, is that on the cephalothorax on the Nemesia, you can see many little setae there. It's a very setose cephalothorax. And then on the cephalothorax of the Cteniza, it's shiny. We can see a reflection even of the forest above me. You can see a cloud in the sky. And that is because there are no hairs on the cephalothorax. The Cteniza has much fewer hairs on its legs as well. Meanwhile, there's quite a few hairs on the Nemesia legs. This Nemesia can go back in the area I found it in and create a new burrow. What I've done in the past to avoid getting little babies eaten and whatnot is oh, there's a little trapdoor spider down there, another Cteniza, is I've put them down and covered them with leaf litter and other forest debris so that they won't get predated on very easily. Nothing will see them, and they'll be able to go on their way. So, just cover them up with a few layers, and they should be fine. This is the bank that they were on. Very, very good place for all the little babies to start building new trapdoors. That'll be all the spiders I'm going to dig up for today. But before I go, here's a clip of me finding a mature male Cteniza in a nearby village. A little mature male Cteniza moggridgei here. And I can tell this one is a male because the abdomen and the cephalothorax are the same size, and its legs are longer, and it has hooks and bulbs. And this one will probably do a defensive posture, but yeah, it won't bite, but it will do a posture. I'm not sure why, but when I find them like this, while they're trying to find a mate, which is right now, this one is out looking for a female, they tend not to bite, but they will still make a posture. Anyway, that'll be all for this video, so thank you for watching.